Hey guys, it's Brittany. So, today's going to be a movie review, and today I'll be reviewing the movie Eight Legged Freaks. And yes, this is a spider movie, and this is also one other spider movie I have seen other than Arachnophobia. So, this one, uh, I'm not gonna look at the poster here because no. Okay, so it was released in theaters July 17th, 2002. Directed by Ellery Alkayam. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. I'm not sure. So sorry. And starring David Arquette, Carrie Were, Scott Terra, Dog. I'm sorry. No, I'm so sorry. Doug E. Scott. I'm so sorry. Forgive me for that. I need caffeine, and so my mind just got distracted just for a second. But I met Doug and Scarlett Johansson. I didn't even know she was in this movie, and the thing is, even when I did watch, when I did saw this at the time, I I did not know who she was. Okay, who does she play? I'm sorry if I don't know, but it's been years since I've seen this, so I just forgot. Okay, she plays Ashley Parker, the daughter of Samantha Parker. Oh, okay. Okay, so she plays the daughter. Okay. Um so okay, so okay. So yeah, forgive me on that on earlier. It just happened and it just slipped out. So I'm so sorry. Um so for those who haven't seen Eight Legged Freaks, but if you would like to, um you can watch it and see if this is a spider movie you might like. And for those who love spiders, yeah, you might like this one or not. But um now I do remember watching this one a long time ago. I never saw it in theaters, but I only saw it only I think I saw it like different times on and off when I was visiting my aunts, because I mean the reason why, not because it was like, oh, I really like it so I just want to watch it again and again. It was more like I would be watching it a little bit, but then at some point it's like I would have to go back home, and so and then I didn't know what happened with the rest of the movie, so I didn't watch it because it's like, oh, I like spiders, and I like this movie because of that. It wasn't that. I just kept watching it because I just wanted to see what else was gonna happen and how is it gonna end. So that's why. But whew. So yeah, and I gotta say the CGI of this movie of these fighters aren't good. I would say I think they could have been better, but and I mean better, which would mean they would look more realistic and terrifying. So who um so this is what I said about, in case if this is something you would like to watch. But this is what it's about. The residents of a rural mining town discovered that an unfortunate chemical spill has caused hundreds of little spiders to mutate overnight to the size of SUVs. even just to think about that, I'm like, whoo. It's up to mining engineer Chris McCormack, David Arquette, and Sheriff Sam Parker, Carrie Moore, to mobilize an electric group to townspeople to battle against the bloodthirsty eight-legged beasts. So, yeah, again, that's what it's about. But I will say when these things get bigger, the CGI, I would say it's okay in some way, but you can tell that it's CGI, and it doesn't. The CGI on these things doesn't even look realistic in such a way of how these things should look if they were to get any bigger, but no. So yeah, you can tell it's like, yeah, the CGI is not so great, but I would say the story, okay, like I said, so again, the CGI, not great, because you can tell that it's CGI because it doesn't look realistic, which means it doesn't look as terrifying as it should be. So with that being said, so with the story, I would say it is a good story, although a really scary one, because when you think about it, this toxic chemical spill caused these little spiders to grow overnight, like huge. And just the thought of that is so terrifying. So I think if they could have made this movie maybe done differently, maybe, I think, okay, let me look at the genre of it, because I know it's a comedy, but I'm not sure if it's really under horror, is it? Wait, oh no, I don't look at that, no. Yeah, it says here it's a horror comedy. But honestly, I just don't really see it that way, to be honest, cause when you think about it, if it was in any way a horror movie or had any um, horror elements, there would have been at least some. I think the story itself would have been both like terrifying, but with humor. But to me, this, I don't know. I mean, I know it says it's a horror comedy, but somehow it just doesn't really feel like that. Because I don't really feel like there's any horror to it. I mean, I think the only thing that I consider a horror itself, and that's spiders, especially the big ones. So that speaks for itself right there. Horror creature. But was there anything to this story that were that I can't speak because of this. Um, to me, I felt like the story didn't felt like there was any like suspense, like anything that felt terrifying. Now with arachnophobia, yes, it absolutely felt like that because it was a thriller, but comedy. But it they called it a thrillomedy. I believe that's what they called it. But I think the most suspense, probably most horrific scene was the wine cellar scene because that's like the most intense. That's like the most terrifying scene I've ever seen, of that movie itself. But with Eight Legged Freaks, I feel like I don't feel that it has that. Like I said, I do think this movie, I would say this story, did have potential, but honestly, I think instead of really making it into a horror comedy, because it just doesn't feel like that. It doesn't, because even though it's been years since I've seen it, but I still remember it. There are certain parts I still remember, so I think that's enough just to remember those certain parts. I don't need to watch it again. Um, but but again, the story itself doesn't feel like it's terrifying as it should be, of a horror movie. To me, I just felt like this was just mostly just a comedy, you know? But honestly, to me, I feel like uh, comedy just doesn't quite fit well when it comes to um, spiders. Even when it comes to like clowns, no, because I don't like clowns either. I'm scared of clowns. Even if they made a comedy movie of a shark, that would not seem funny to me. That would seem terrifying. But so all I'm saying is that yes, this story just doesn't feel as terrifying as it should be with the horror elements, because it just mostly felt like it was just this silly, you know, comedy movie. I think there are some things that maybe are kind of funny, but most of it, I think there are some things that they do make fun of, or there are some things that they think would be funny, which I don't think it's funny. I'm like, oh no, not good, not good. I don't like what's happening. Like I said, it's supposed to look funny and everything, but I just don't find it funny. But honestly, I think this movie probably would have been done better not as a horror comedy movie, but I think if it was like a thriller, like a thriller horror movie, or just a complete, like maybe a drama horror movie, I think that could have been done better, just in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know, I didn't like how it turned out, like how it's like funny, like how it's kind of scary but it's funny. Like, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about that, because it's like, okay, if it's gonna be a horror movie, don't make it too silly, because if you are trying to get the audience terrified, and if you want me to feel terrified too, then let me feel terrified. But if you're gonna make it too silly, then how am I supposed to be terrified when it's too silly? And I'm not even laughing at what's happening at all, and I'm just like, what? And I'm just like having mixed feelings about it. I'm like, okay, this isn't scary, so I'm not that scared. Although there's one thing I am scared of, but at the same time, they're making it silly this way, and I'm not really finding it funny, and it just seems like this doesn't make sense. You know, it just doesn't make sense. But I will say this, so uh, I'm done with that now. But now I do like the cast, with David Arquette and even with Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, I didn't even know she was in this movie till now. I'm like, I didn't know she was in there because I've seen her in other movies, but I just didn't know she was in this one because, of course, it's been years since I've seen this one. But so yeah, I will say this: I do like the cast, but I just think the writing, the story, I think it should have been more terrifying than a horror comedy movie, because, like I said, it just felt more silly, and it just felt more cheesy, and it didn't feel as terrifying and suspenseful that I think that it should have been. So yeah, so honestly, I would say it's okay, but I don't exactly like it. Um, but yeah, I think it could have done better if it was more of a terrifying horror movie. So that's just what I think. But So yeah, I do like the cast, but I think that's all I like about it is the cast. But other than that, the story itself could have been done better if it was more of a scary horror movie. But so I would say to rate it, honestly, to rate this, I would give it 1 star, and I would give it I don't know, I think 4 out of 10. Um, I would give it 7%, and um, and a C. I would say this is probably like one of the lowest ratings I've ever given a movie, but then again, there are some other movies that I've given a low rating for other reasons. But um, yeah, so that is my review and rating on I almost said arachnophobia. On Eight-Legged Freaks, I almost said that because that's the fear that I have, but I think it's also on my mind as well. So I'm like, ugh. So yeah, I'm just like, oh, okay. Yeah, talking about these things is so uneasy, and it's not easy for me to talk about it, but when I do, it's only because it's like I would want uh, other people to know about that. Um, so yeah. So anyway, that's my review and rating on Eight-Legged Freaks. But again, if this is something you would like to watch, and check it out for yourself and see how you like it. So yeah, that is all. um so yeah, for more movie content, reactions, dreams, and the paranormal, subscribe and click on the bell so you'll be notified when I upload. That's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.